Michael Jackson is in trouble again. And although he's been dead and in the ground for nearly 16 years, the government and the media are still trying to take him down. All because the king of pop was found in the king of PDF files. And speaking of PDF files, the US government just had an unexpected major leak. But this ain't no ordinary leak, yo. This is the most ridiculous, dumbest leak ever. Because it was discovered by netizens, yo.
You serious?
So, 准备a lot of 爆米花 for this one because for the king of pop and the US government, 真的是代志大条. So, right now, the biggest news in America is that the government fucked up. Again. Right now, Americans don't give a fuck about aliens or even whether or not there's gonna be World War III. Other than their pocketbook, there's only one thing they care about most. Who is in them files with the king of PDF and the owner of Lolly Island?
Open in Adobe. All right, now we're gonna copy this, we're gonna save it. And this is from the government website right here, justice.gov. One of the moment of truth. We're talking about this is the federal government, and they can't figure out how to put a black bar over some text.
The FBI just accidentally released 11,000 Jeffrey Epstein files that they hadn't publicly put out yet, but we got access to them. Here's what that looks like. It's volume 8 of the files, but you can see right now that they've only released 7 data sets. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did.
You mean to tell me that all someone had to do was go into the address bar, change a few letters and numbers, and immediately gain instant access to hundreds of thousands of US government secrets?
Dumb.
Stupid.
This is not dumb, this ain't even incompetence, this is just straight up lazy, yo. Or maybe this is exactly what they want. Because after I went through all these Epstein files, there are 3 big questions stuck in my mind. Number 1, why in the hell is it Michael Jackson? Since this leak happened, the media has been like flies on trying everything they can to bring back the smear campaign and make an old MJ a PDF file. All because of 2 photos. You want to know what them headlines were?
Michael Jackson is seen partying with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton in the latest bombshell Department of Justice release from the notorious trafficker's estate.
Michael Jackson poses with Jeffrey Epstein in creepy photo from DOJ's bombshell release.
Jeffrey Epstein pictured with pop legend and alleged pedophile Michael Jackson in DOJ's latest document release.
This has got to be the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. The Epstein files has tons of scandalous photos with a lot of sketchy people, but y'all want to focus on MJ? All because these tabloids want to farm clicks and get traffic, they're willing to smear the king of pop and paint him out to be some sort of a PDF file. In this photo, you see Michael Jackson with Bill Clinton and the famous singer Diana Ross and 2 little people whose faces are redacted. Now keep in mind, the government explicitly said they will only redact the faces and names of victims. So, open and shut case, right? These 2 must be victims of MJ, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
The government or someone in the government intentionally tried to mislead the public, implying that Michael Jackson and Clinton are both PDF files. But you want to know the truth?
That's me, not an unidentified woman.
So, the children who appeared in this photo, who happened to be Michael Jackson and Diana Ross's kids, revealed that not only was it them pictured in the photo, but that it was taken 23 years ago at the DNC convention in 2002. What you're looking at right now is the original version, and it can be found online via a simple Google image search. And it has absolutely nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Going on.
And then there's the second photo, MJ and Jeffrey Epstein together. And do you see the caption down below?
Michael Jackson and Epstein at an undisclosed location.
So that's it, the smoking gun. That is guilty, right?
Michael wanted to move to Palm Beach to be near his friend from the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb. He was friends with all the Bee Gees. He's actually recorded some music with them and was recording music with them at the time. About 2003, if I remember correctly. I was his bodyguard, I was his friend. Michael wanted to view houses. So, his team got him a real estate agent who lined up lots of viewings of property, multi-million-dollar mansions along Palm Beach. And guess what? One of them that was for sale was Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. Now, did anyone know who Jeffrey Epstein was back then? No. He was not infamous doing, no one knew what he was doing behind closed doors. And when you're Michael Jackson, when you view property, everybody wants to have a picture. From the cleaners, from the security, from the tenants who are renting it, and the landlords too, especially if they know it's Michael Jackson coming to view their house. So, did Michael Jackson know who Jeffrey Epstein was? He never had a clue. That was a 30-second picture. That was it. Then we moved on to the next viewing.
This is Michael Jackson's best friend and bodyguard for 10 years, and he was there when Michael Jackson met Epstein for the first time. MJ didn't even know who this PDF nigga was. Imagine this. You decide to go out house hunting, and while you're doing that house hunting, you decide to take a photo with one of the owners of the house. Then fast forward a few years later, that owner of the house gets convicted of murder. People start digging through his photos and find a photo of you with him, and all of a sudden everyone's calling you an accomplice to murder.
That don't make no sense.
The most ridiculous part of this whole thing is not the fact that the media and the government are playing mind games, it's the very people who believe them.
Facts just dropped. Fresh Epstein files with photos of Jackson cozying up at the Palm Beach mansion where all the shady stuff went down. Victim testimony confirms he was there. But nah, it was just a property chat, right?
Even the weirdos went to Pedo Island. Another photo dropped by the DOJ's Epstein files. A trove of photos were dumped, as well as documents. Epstein and Michael Jackson photo.
They're not blocked out to look like Epstein victims. They are minors in the photos, and we don't have permission to show them, and they might potentially be victims. Michael Jackson was accused twice of being a pedophile, and multiple times after he died.
It's time to stop the lying, guys. There was no extortion of Michael Jackson. This photo is two birds of a feather flocking together. They are both preferential pedophiles. They just crossed paths. It was never about music catalogs. Michael Jackson brought these kids in his life.
Real talk, smear campaigns have been going against Michael Jackson like this for nearly 2 decades. I'm beginning to think that these folks don't want to see a nigga succeed. But is he a nigga though? I mean, he was white when he died. Kai one shout the
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 2 of the indictment. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of attempting to commit a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 6 of the indictment.
MJ created Neverland to experience a childhood he never really had. And in the process, he also gave a lot of kids some really great childhoods. But the one thing he didn't do was ruin the childhood of kids.
I feel that you can return to your childhood. You find grown-ups, either be thrown in the pool, or you have a water balloon fight, or a super soaker fight. And I love all of the above. It's just a fun, wonderful place to be. I always wanted to have a place where you're just busy all day, and there's just unlimited space to go on quads and mountains and horseback. And
this is what Neverland looks like inside. No creepy shit at all. In fact, it just straight up looks like an amusement park, only I can imagine with much better music. If I had a chance, I definitely would go there. But there is one land whose sole purpose is to ruin childhoods, the place where all innocence goes to die. Lollyland, aka Pedo Island.
We're on our way to Jeffrey Epstein's infamous private island, the notorious Caribbean hideaway where Epstein tricked and sexually abused teenage girls. He's back in the spotlight. The island is now owned by a billionaire investor who bought it 2 years ago for $60 million. He reportedly plans to turn it into a luxury 25-room resort, which explains the presence of all those workers.
And after 6 long years, the US government finally revealed what was in those files. Well, kinda. Releasing over 8,000 photos of his properties and of course that lolly island. Today, I'm gonna show you what exactly the inside of that PDF compound looks like. And by the time you get to the end of this video, you will be 100% sure that PDF and Michael Jackson do not belong in the same sentence.
But I had to get this out while it was basically not public yet. I mean, I think it's eventually gonna be public. When, we don't know. But you can access all of it at jmail.world. I'll leave a link in the description. They have a special drive section. The original pitch was it's like email, but you're logged in as Jeffrey Epstein. Now they've made it like the entire Google account, so you can log into his drive folder and all that kind of stuff. It's fun, it's a great UI, but more importantly, it makes it all very searchable and you can look at it. I think you'll all really enjoy it.
This site is cool, yo. And I'm gonna start with the FBI crime scene photos taken in Epstein's New York apartment. Fun fact, this apartment sits in the richest neighborhood in Manhattan at 9 floors and 50,000 square feet with an estimated worth of $77 million. And the owner of it, who happens to be the owner of Victoria's Secret, gave it to Jeffrey Epstein for free. Holy moly. Now, as we go through these photos, keep in mind the king of PDF's house has 9 floors and over 40 rooms. And I chose some of the most interesting photos like this one. This is creepy as this got a statue of a bride hanging down his stairwell. So every day when he goes to any of his 40 rooms, he will see this statue. And given as it's situated near the bottom of the stairs, his guests will see it too. Jesus, it really gives some eyes wide shut cult vibes. So I did some digging, and it turns out it's actually art. It is a part of a full collection called The Nude. And here's the thing, it was Epstein who decided to put the wedding dress on it. I wonder what this creepy goober was thinking.
You are creepy as...
And then there's this one. There was a rumor of this painting going around for years, but no one really believed it existed. Turns out it does, and Epstein deliberately hung it right at the entrance of the security quarters so that when you turn right from the entrance of the house, you can see it. It's almost like the former US president is doing security for the PDF. And considering these two are good friends, I'm pretty sure Clinton has seen the painting. Fun fact, that dress he's wearing is the same blue dress Monica Lewinsky wore when she was giving him oral hygiene tips in the White House.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And now we're in another special room, the massage room, which has a really weird vibe, because as you can see, or not see, it is surrounded with nude art. And in the court report, one of the victim's testimonies described this room in great detail. Now, without going into too much detail about what happened, trust me, some really fucked up shit went down here, multiple times. Now, the rest of the rooms on this floor are pretty ordinary, but some of the items in these ordinary rooms are definitely not ordinary. So, in this room, the FBI opened the drawers and found some cosplay. And the creepy part of this is these are all school uniforms. And if you look to the right, one of them even has baby stitched on it. And in that same room, you can see some redacted photos with Epstein and 2 girls in short skirts sitting on his lap. But what is more interesting is the upper right-hand corner, E-N-E-M-A, which is properly pronounced enema, and is written on that box for all to see, which you would only have for one of 2 things. Either A, you're constipated as fuck and you really need some help, or B, you're getting ready to engage in some serious butt stuff, which means you gotta clean that out, literally.
Help me to release this demon!
So these were just a few of the things that were in that $77 million apartment. But that was just a sneak preview, yo. Because Jishane, we're gonna step foot on one of the most notorious locations in the entire Western Hemisphere. Lolly Island, aka Epstein Island.
There was a time I took Jeffrey Epstein's party of 4 out here to the island. And it's basically a woman about his age and a couple of girls that looked like they were 13, 14, maybe 15 years old, sisters. And I dropped them off, didn't think anything of it.
Guy Dom says at the time, he assumed that the passengers were Epstein's wife and kids. It wasn't until later that he learned Epstein didn't have a family.
Welcome to Little St. James Island, aka Pedo Island. Now, before I saw the photos, I assumed this place was gonna be creepy as fuck and have lots of weird stuff on it. But it turns out, it actually looks pretty comfy. The most mysterious and significant feature of the island is the temple. Surely they did some weird, creepy eyes wide shit here, right? Well, let's have a look inside. It actually seems pretty normal. They've got a bookshelf, some unopened mattresses, and a half-finished ceiling mural. It seems like they only just started construction. So, the only weird thing about the inside of this mysterious temple is that it's, well, not done. But let's go back to the outside for a minute. Bruh, I've been DJing for over 20 years, and you see how the temple is elevated with the steps? Down below straight up looks like a dance floor, and this is the perfect party spot. You got the ocean view in the background, you can put the DJ tie up top, with fire dancers and people down below dancing their ass off. So the whole island looks pretty normal to me, until you go inside one of them properties. What in the actual fuck? This fool has a full-on dentist office in his compound. And then look at the wall. All the faces on there look like dictators who are staring at you while you get a root canal. So what kind of weird shit are they doing here anyway? I have no idea. But overall, the exterior on the island looks like a great place. So now you know what the apartment in the island looks like. Kinda creepy, but not really. But as we saw before, all the creepiness is in the items they found. Take a look at this scrapbook. So this girl is redacted, which means she's a victim. And the words on this book are disturbing as fuck.
Once upon a time, there was a clueless little girl.
How do I look?
It seems like Epstein is remembering back when this girl was innocent and trusting, and then he completely ruined that innocence. And you can see he's looking up this girl's skirt, and the caption is equally disgusting.
Then,
What is he doing? He wouldn't.
Elastic.
Now this is just 2 pages from one of a lot of creepy scrapbooks this PDF king has. And it don't stop with scrapbooks either, yo. My man has a shit ton of DVDs. And you have to remember, my man has been up to this PDF since 1996. So maybe after the scrapbooks got boring and technology improved, he moved to filming his creepy. Because as you can see, he actually wrote the names of girls on them. And this is only one drawer full. And of course, the pictures inside the DVDs are mostly redacted. And I reviewed all of them. And most of them are filmed by other people, but not Epstein himself. And that brings me to my second question. Where in the hell are Epstein's phone's photos? Because the Gmail site shows his iMessage conversations, but I couldn't find any photos taken from his own phone. And to me, that is where the real Epstein files are. Now, the leak is just a DOS attack on the American public. Overload their mind with too much information and put MJ as a misdirect target.
None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
So for me, this really ain't the Epstein files. This is an FBI suits haiku. And real talk, it's just the leftovers. All the shit they don't care about you seeing, they leave it over to you. Just like this photo. This seems like somewhat normal art, but if you zoom into the adjacent room on the wall on the left, there's a photo of Epstein hoisting a little girl on his shoulders. For some reason, the FBI didn't log this photo at all, or at least I couldn't find it. And that leads us to my third and final question. Exactly what documents are they refusing to release to the public? Well, just 2 days ago, the DOJ released a statement saying they found 1 million more Epstein files, and it'll take weeks before they could even sort through and release them. So maybe by then, my 3 questions will actually get answered. Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.